And we're live. We are on the air.
Yay.
We are on the air.
Yes, we are.
We are speaking. We are actually recording this in my first ever video segment of the show.
Yes.
So, I'm going to go to my guest here.
Yes.
Johnathan, how are you? You were on recording.
Yes, I am dandy as always. How about you, Spencer?
I am good.
Nice
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, dude.
Okay, so we are actually the only two people in the world that I know that listen to IDM.
Yes.
And as much as that is a really nerdy thing to say and not something that a lot of people would want to go out there and admitting,
Right.
I actually like it. But this past weekend, I saw this individual on Monday who goes by the name of Daniel Lopitan. And Daniel Lopitan goes by the pseudonym of his artistry called One O Tricks Point Never. And One O Tricks Point Never is basically an ambient IDM artist who takes samples of abstract, obscure things and makes beautiful, gorgeous music out of it. And he's actually one of my favorite artists, and I don't say that lightly. There's actually a wall I have in my apartment room, my bedroom, with currently 5 vinyls on them, and I call it the Wall of Fame. Essentially what it is these are albums that I would not change, and I consider myself a big music critic. I would not change anything about the album Replica that he made in 2011.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was a really good album, very sample-based. Timing was out of this world. Essentially, I loved it, and it was really nice to see him. Also in the Wall of Fame is Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, right.
And then 2 other people I would doubt anyone here would know.
Tell us.
So,
Tell us.
John Coltrane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so John Coltrane
Wait,
is on
which
the Wall of
album in
Fame.
particular?
Love Supreme.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Love Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marconi Union's on there too. I'm trying to get Kanye West on there, but whenever I try to buy the album I want to buy, it just doesn't go the way I want it to.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I tell myself, all right, I'm gonna buy the album. I usually get it like on Amazon or whatever.
Right.
I usually tell myself, okay, I'm gonna get the album.
Right.
It's gonna come, and then I do it, and then my card declines for some reason.
Huh.
I'm just like, I can't do this.
I mean, have you considered actually going to a record shop for that?
I have, but if I go there just for them not to have it,
I'm sorry?
if I go to there just for them not to have it, I'm just gonna be mad.
Okay.
So I might as well.
I mean, why not? We'll just have a little hangout and stuff to go check out some vinyl and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's true. That sounds like a fun day.
Yeah, exactly. Go with 2 music nerds and whatnot. Yeah. I know for me, like, Music Hall of Fame, I have 2 albums right now that are, like, just perfect. And there is a 3rd one right now.
Enlighten me.
Sufjan Stevens' Come On Feel the Illinois.
Okay.
It's masterpiece, my favorite album of all time. Fortet's There Is Love in You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that album. I mean, it's arguable that his other album, Rounds, is like the more superior one. I see that. I still think There Is Love in You has this kind of charm that makes electronic music not only just human, it also encapsulates that kind of harmony that I always wanted in there. Like, wow, I feel blissful listening to this. And The Avalanches, Since I Left You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about electronic music that I could see why it turns a lot of people off, because it can lack a human element sometimes. And I think that's why it turns a lot of people off from it, because they want to feel something that's a human element. It's basically the antithesis of soul music, what I would say. And this is what I think One O Tricks does. He takes those elements, like the very structural emotions that humans can feel. Yeah. He somehow finds a way to take that, but not go away from the electronic genre. And I think that's what makes him special.
Yeah. Like he kind of found that spot where he could find that balance. Yeah. I see that. Especially with like R+7 as well. Ooh. Dang. That thing.
Damn.
So good.
That was a good album.
It was a really good album. Like, it's experimental, and at the same time, like, I think there's like at least some of the people I've introduced it to, like, of course they say it's weird, and at the same time there's just like, there's something catchy about this. And I'm like, have you heard of Flying Lotus? And there's like, Not yet. I'm like, oh boy. And they're like, what album should I start off with? That's a good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah, because like, it's either because the trio right now is Los Angeles, Cosmogramma, which is my personal favorite from his, and You're Dead. I personally think You're Dead is probably the more accessible one because more singers and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it's definitely more. I want to use the right word. It definitely appeals to a more larger audience because of the features on it, like Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yeah, Thundercat.
Thundercat.
I'm trying to think of who else was there.
Who else was on that album?
Hey, that's a good question.
That was a damn good album. I remember when I was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
That was the album I listened to literally every single day on the way to school.
Yeah.
And then there was this chicken and waffle restaurant next to my school, and I would literally go there every single day, and then I'd go in there and be playing that album over the intercom at the chicken and waffle restaurant. Ooh. So it was like this album would follow me wherever I go. Yeah, you ever have like music and you just listen to it and it's just like, this reminds me of a time and place I was in my life.
Are you talking about nostalgia? Are you talking about the nostalgia factor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me with Jimmy Eat World, the first album. Because, I mean, it's like pop emo, at least before emo went pop. It's like one of those things where it always stayed with me since childhood and then teenage years, and then I revisit that album back and listening to Bleed American, Sweetness. I mean, of course, The Middle, because it's a childhood song. For me, like just listening to that song, Sweetness, always gives me like really good, happy vibes. Just like wow. I remember when I was a kid, I danced to this song. It was hardcore back then.
Oh my gosh, I have. There's so much music I could just like. I listen to and just like, wow. Yeah. Like this immediately brings back a memory. It's like the smell of sunblock.
Oh,
or like you ever have smells that you get those nostalgia factors?
Yeah.
So like sunblock, it always reminds me of, I was in a marching band in high school.
Yeah.
And we had this 2 weeks of hell called band camp.
Right.
And basically we were out in 110 degrees outside playing instruments, being nerds.
I am so sorry.
And basically I had to wear sunblock. And that smell reminds me of band camp.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just reminiscent of those times.
So what, you just hear like horns or like your lips touching like the hot brass instruments, just like, oh wow, sunblock.
Honestly, what reminds me of band camp more than that is whenever I walk by you know the pyramid? Yeah, you know the pyramid.
Of course.
Whenever I walk by the pyramid here on campus at Cal State Long Beach, well, if you're not familiar with Cal State Long Beach, we have a giant pyramid. It's blue, and you can see it from the 405 and the 605 freeway. It's ginormous. Essentially, whenever I walk by that pyramid, I always hear trumpets and trombones and brass instruments.
Right.
And that by itself reminds me of band camp. So I make it a duty to myself to stay away from that building as far as possible. Because I do not want to think about that at all.
I feel like there's some repressed memories going in there. It's like some kind of effed up thing happened at band camp.
Nah, it's not bad. It's not like all this stuff you see in like the movies and stuff. It's just like, it's kind of like, you think about a job you really didn't like.
Yeah,
and it's just
that's the repressed memories.
It's like, I don't want to think about that job right now. Man.
It's too close to home.
Now I'm thinking about all the jobs I did used to have that I hated so much.
Oh, gosh. Wow, dang.
I don't even want to get started with that.
It's okay. You have me. We could talk more about IDM. You know, like one of those albums, I guess for me it's more recent. It's kind of like a catalyst album of listening. Whenever I think of like nostalgia, going back to the artist again, For Ted's Rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much like Onio Tricks Point Never, albeit in a little bit more less. I don't want to say less experimental, just a little bit more. What do you call it? I don't know how to phrase it. Actually, it's like. No,
that's understandable. He's Onio Tricks.
Yeah.
Okay, if you listen to Replica,
yeah.
If you showed someone Replica and then you showed someone Rounds, I can understand why someone would think why the average person would think, okay, the second album is better than the first. Because, honestly, it took me a lot of time to listen to Replica and be like, okay, this is a good album.
Yeah. It takes some time to grow and stuff. Like, I feel like it's more accessible. I think that's what I want to say, like, with Rounds compared to Replicant for Onion Chicks Whenever. I think for me, the track My Angel Rocks Me Back and Forth by Fortet, it's like this harp sample-based thing that just plays over and over again with different variations of drumming and like some kind of like distortion in the electronics. And for me, listening to that, it always takes me back to childhood. Really, like it feels like I'm like in kindergarten. Yeah, it feels like I'm in kindergarten, just playing with blocks, like back in the day when it was just pure fun, bliss, innocence, and whatnot.
It's weird how music that we were talking about nostalgia factor before. It's weird how music that we listen to today can invoke feelings that we had years ago.
Right, yeah.
And not necessarily we were listening to that music during that time period.
Right, yeah.
I feel the same way. I felt the same way when I saw One O Tricks on Monday when he played Chrome Country from R+7.
Yeah. Dang.
Like, because I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to sound like an emotionless like asshat, but I like music, but it never makes me cry. It never makes me cry. Like, I'll be like moved by it, but I'm not gonna like just sit here and like weep like, oh my god, that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to it, and like, so I had my hands crossed. I was just sitting comfortable. I was actually pretty cold in the concert hall, so I was sitting with my hands crossed like this, a little cold, and then he plays the first chord to Chrome Country, and without me noticing, I put my hands out like this, just like surrendering.
Right.
So it kind of felt like I was just, I just gave up.
You became vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the weirdest experience I ever had because I never had music do that to me before.
Wow. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. You're reminding me of the time when my friend, who's basically has the same, if not similar, kind of attitude towards music. He hasn't had a song that made him cry. And he had that moment of surrender in an acting class where he just imagined himself floating onto a cloud. And as he was floating onto a cloud, he was flying to his childhood past home, and where he was basically grabbing all the little toys that he played as a kid. And while he was imagining all this, the song by American Football, the one with the Wurlitzer started playing, and he started crying like a little bitch. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how something that carries almost absolutely no emotional value to it. Like, the music's not gonna hurt you. It doesn't give you anything like physically to make you happy.
Right.
But somehow it could evoke this emotion in us.
Right. Because it's just it's triggering this kind of sensation where it reminds us of a certain point in time or that kind of feeling, and then goes out to do a Wikipedia search, or a Google search of like, hey, this is what it was.
Man, I remember just listening to that at the concert, and when you know the song I'm talking about, Chrome Country, and then it goes from the children doing like the little chorus. From that, it goes to like an organ reprise, and once that part started, I just couldn't help myself. I just started bawling and crying, and I just remember like saying in my head like, I'm finally free.
Wow.
But I didn't even know what that meant. Like, what does finally free mean? But I know I'm singing in my head. What could this music be doing that makes me think I'm finally free? What am I free from? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
The arm lock.
Arm lock. All right. So it's currently, the time is 6:16. We're going to take a Actually, no, we're not going to take a quick break. We got 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Exactly. Well, let me just say this. You're free from being an asshat.
That is true. I guess I'm free from something.
See, there you go. Let's see. I know, like I mentioned, Illinois did provoke a real big feeling with me, especially with the predatory wasps in the Palisades. Oh, that song, I think, same friend who cried with the one with the Wurlitzer. He basically says, this song feels like falling in love.
Well, I got a lot of songs I feel like falling in love.
Yeah. I think it's just because it went from a simple, like a solo guitar, like I guess not solo guitar, like it's like a guitar with like horns that are kind of muted in the background and whatnot, and then later on when he finishes the guitar, he immediately blasts back to the horns, like a whole marching band just comes in like with full glee, and it's kind of like this blitzkrieg.
That's an interesting word to describe it.
Yeah. And then later on goes back to guitar, then the blitzkrieg comes back in like full frontal force. I'm like, wow, this is lovely.
Music is great, guys.
It is.
Music's the greatest thing in the world.
Sufjan Stevens is the homeboy for me. I'm like, yo, you need to go check him out. He's the national indie treasure.
Indie music. I remember listening. I still listen to indie music, but I remember in high school I would usually listen to like Mac DeMarco.
Oh yeah.
Scott James, Bane's World, Boy Pablo.
Typical. Boy Pablo.
I used to go to backyard shows a lot when I was in high school too.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask you something. Does that seem like something that you would expect me to say?
No, not really.
Okay, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
I mean, I'm not gonna be the guy who would say, "Oh yeah, I
expected that." Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been thinking.
Yes.
Okay, on the way over here, I was thinking about the Grammys and how I think basically they're trash. So I want to ask you, who do you think has potential? Think about all the music that came out this past year. Who do you think is going to win Album of the Year?
Wow. I'm trying to think. What were some of the releases that went out? I'm kind of on a blank right now. Let's see.
Okay, so...
Because I know... I mean, recently...
Kids See Ghosts.
Yay.
Oh, that's that's not getting Album of the Year.
Pusha T.
Daytona. Daytona.
Yeah. I would actually be kind of happy if it won that.
If Daytona won Album of the Year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a...
I mean,
it'd mean a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to win Album of the Year.
Yeah, it's not... It's a long shot.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. I know, of course, Drake's going to be in the Grammys just because I don't even like his new album. It's just too long. I mean, would you say Logic, Young Sinatra 4 would be there? Okay.
Close. I'm sorry. But
yeah.
Okay. You said the D word, so now we got to talk about him.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, so Drake, I got some beef with Drake.
Pusha T does too.
Pusha T does too. That's why I'm on his side. Okay, so Drake, I don't think his music recently has been. He hasn't done anything new with his music.
Yeah.
It still sounds like Scorpion. We're talking about Scorpion now.
Right.
Scorpion just sounds like a watered down version of Nothing Was the Same. It's just okay. You have the boom bap beats.
Yeah.
You have the synth music. You have super long though. You have the pop tracks. You have the Go Gators. Here's the thing about Drake.
Yes.
Drake has quite possibly the most talented team behind him. He has 40. He has Party Next Door. He has Mahid Jordan. He has basically OVO crew is really talented, and I will give him that. But he doesn't know how to use his team to his advantage. He doesn't know how to learn from other people musically. He just does the exact same formula over and over and over again, and then puts it out, and then it gets hits because it's the exact same thing.
Right.
I don't really see.
So are you mainly attacking this in a terms of like artistic progression and whatnot. Like how Drake isn't really progressing much as an artist, like creatively speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I can see that.
And here's my proof for that. Okay, so you take someone like Drake, compare Drake to... Think about every single album Drake has had. Every single album, mixtape. Start from Thank Me Later. Go to Take Care. Nothing Was the Same. To If You're Reading This, The Moral Life. Views.
Yeah. Views was
Scorpion.
trash.
Views was so trash. I can't believe people tried to tell me that was a good album. No. It's a stretch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so what I think of Drake, all that music sounds relatively the same. If you showed someone a track like Take Care, well, if you showed someone a track on Take Care, and you showed them a track on Scorpion, and you told them that, okay, this album was made in the exact, these two songs are made in the exact same album, they'd probably believe you. I think if they haven't heard Drake before,
right.
I assume they would believe you. Take someone like Kanye West. Polar opposite. If you showed someone, assuming they do not know who Kanye West is or any of his music, if you showed them a track off The College Dropout, and then you show them a track off Yeezus, they will definitely tell you these are two different people.
Yeah. And not only that, I would honestly say, I mean, if we're giving similarities, Drake and Kanye West are both trendsetters. There's no debate. There's no debating on that. Like no matter what, these people have defined what hip hop is today. I think for me, to add on to your Kanye argument, how about 808s? Because that's revolutionary in terms of the sound and what it is today. It's like those ideas in the forefront shaped what hip hop is right now.
Oh, definitely true.
Yeah.
And his use of essentially the use of 808s.
Yeah.
Hence the title 808s and Heartbreak. That's what made it so revolutionary.
Yeah.
Drake can't do that musically. I know not saying he can't. He can, he just chooses not to.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like it feels like you said, he follows a formula. I think in terms of a creative artist's point of view, it's not good. Like, it won't stand the test of time. However, I'd also would concede to the argument that this is what's working for him right now.
I'm not saying, like, okay, you got to make your paper. You gotta,
yeah. Like, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
He knows.
We're going to stop him.
Yeah, he knows his audience. It's just, as asshats as we are, as music critics, it's just like, no, I've heard this again.
Yeah, that sounds like Drake.
Like, would you say, Drake... If we combined it all into a greatest hits album, Drake would be the greatest hits. Like his greatest hits album would probably be the best. Like out of all the albums that he's given out, kind of like what CCR is, Bob Marley. What other greatest hits albums are there?
Eagles.
Eagles.
They actually got the highest selling album of all time.
See, recently. Yeah.
It just surpassed Thriller.
Yeah.
So maybe. I don't think if a Drake had a greatest hits album, it would surpass Thriller, given all the time in the world.
Fair.
But
like in terms of like
no. Actually, let's actually take that argument. Yeah. You say if Drake had a greatest hits album, it would probably sound just like another album.
Yeah,
because all the music sounds the same.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be anything compelling to listen to.
Yeah,
like imagine. But at the same time, I can't imagine Drake doing anything else. That's not to say that he's bad, but imagine Drake just dropping one day and being like, I'm about to drop an experimental album, I'm about to use all these experimental sounds and soundscapes and wavelengths and odd sampling, and I'm going to fire 40s, I'm going to sample on this album, I'm going to do it myself. I would be like, okay, Drake, go for it, but when the album will come out, I would guarantee that no one would like it. Because
how dare you talk about Kid Cudi like that with being Bullet to Heaven? We talked about this recently.
Okay, well, just because an artist wants to go out of his way does not necessarily mean that it's going to be a bad album.
Right,
Kid Cudi just made a really bad album.
Yeah. We know he has the potential of doing it.
Like, it just...
Like, you don't see that kind of move for Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
Essentially.
Okay.
Okay, so the time is now 6:26. We are going to go on that break that I mentioned before.
Burst.
And then we will be back with the rest of the show.
Hold on, I'm gonna go check on this computer of like what are the albums that came out.
Okay.
So that way we could get back to the Grammy conversation.
All right. What's it called?
We got Greta Van Fleet. That doesn't help.
You're looking at top albums or all the albums that released this year?
Top albums right now. Let's see what we got. This is not helping at all. Albums. Popular albums?
Yeah.
Let's see, so at least we got some.
The popular isn't a trip, but popular.
True.
Actually, no.
Oh, Astroworld.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is a good list.
21 Pilots. Or even Casey Musgraves. Good. Alright with that. Janelle Monáe.
Okay, dirty computer. That's
Black Panther, Boarding House.
I like that album.
Which one?
My Dear Melancholy. I liked it, but a lot of people didn't.
My Dear
Like The Weeknd.
Oh, I haven't listened to that one.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot of good things about it, honestly. I'm looking forward to it. Everything is Love by the Carters. God's Favorite Customer.
By Father John Misty?
Yeah.
Ooh, damn.
Oh, I would love to see Parquet Court win this. I want them to win, honestly. Okay, we got something to work with. Alright. Beer Bongs and Bentleys. That album's good. The Carter 5. I haven't listened to it yet.
It's not album of the year worthy.
Okay.
It's not even hip hop album of the year worthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard
it's good.
It's alright from other people, from what I've heard. Well. I mean, Love Yourself by BTS. Charlie. No Name.
Oh, No Name. Room 25?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's good.
That was actually, I remember telling myself that was my second favorite album of the year.
Ooh,
that released.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Hive Mind by the Internet. That was good. I like that one.
I didn't like it better than Ego Death.
What was the other one?
Ego Death. That came
okay. I actually like Hive Mind a lot.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah. It's just comparatively speaking. Yeah, I think I prefer Hive Mind for me.
Okay.
Good, smooth vibe going on, especially Burbank funk.
Ooh, the first song that came out.
Yeah, the first single. Finally, we got Steve Lacy singing and vocals. And then Kids See Ghosts, like you mentioned. Oh, I want to see Idols win something. Joy is an Act of Resistance is my album of the year. Post-punk. If only. If only. Oh yeah, Fall Out Boy came up with something.
Oh, why don't we get up on here? Actually, no. Because I'm recording. Okay, alright, sit back down.
Alright. So you got the whole list over here. Alright. Shall we? Did you play your PSAs, promos, all that stuff?
We are 22S Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com in 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to the Talking with Spitzer program. I am here with my guest Johnathan, and we are currently talking about the music industry this evening. Yeah. And I just introduced the question to Johnathan earlier in the show. So we were talking about who of all the artists that released music this year has opportunity from winning Album of the Year. And now we have a list of basically majority of the artists that released music. And we're going to yap about who probably has a chance of winning Album of the Year or any award at the Grammys.
Right.
All right. So, Johnathan, I go to you. You had a lot to say during a break. Okay.
Janelle Monáe.
That was fast. That was really fast.
I will be very honest. I think for me, she knows how to like vary her style in terms of music. Dirty Computer is just fantastic as a whole album. Goodness gracious. Futuristic kind of goes like holler back to the Arcandroid for me personally. I think it's got that smooth, sensual vibe of R&B while also being experimental and futuristic and whatnot.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Mm-hmm. And plus she's got that factor of being more appealing to a wide audience.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Okay, so basically,
yes,
I think the Grammys was it's kind of been botched recently over the past couple of years.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that when people try to tell me, man, the Grammys only gives awards to artists white people like. I didn't agree with that. Until I saw that Kendrick lost to Taylor Swift. When I saw that, I was just like,
1989.
Okay. Does anyone here still listen to 1989? Anyone in the audience? Anyone out there still listen to Taylor Swift in 1989? This is a serious question. If you do, come out to the studio right now. I just want to talk to you. Anyone out here on the internet? No? SoundCloud? YouTube?
My sister has the deluxe version.
There is not one person I know that still listens to any track on that album. There are people I listen to Spin Butterfly every single day. Literally, there's not one day I do not go without listening to that album. It is an iconic album. It is historic, and it is forever cemented into the hip-hop community. You could not say that about 1989 about pop music.
That's very true. That is very true.
But yet, she gets notoriety and she wins Album of the Year. What does that tell you?
Well, I'm going to let you know.
Spill it.
The Grammys do not care about that. They just simply want to see, all right, who gets the most clout out of this? It's a popularity contest. I think that's at least what it communicates to me for the Grammys personally. And like, do you feel like last year, or was it? Was it last year when Kendrick won for Damn? What did you feel about that?
For what? The Pulitzer Prize?
I mean, yeah, the Pulitzer Prize, and also getting Rap Album of the Year. Like, did you feel like it was kind of like, at least we're getting that back or something, or what?
No. Well, actually, I was kind of expected. I expected him to win Album of the Year.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to win Album of the Year simply because, come on, just look at the cover. It's an angry black man with the word "damn" on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really appealing to a white audience.
That's
but
true.
Yet Bruno Mars dancing with Cardi B, that's appealing to white people who...
Yeah. Although then again, I give it to Bruno Mars where he's actually pretty talented. Well...
Oh, no, I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, like, that album wasn't...
Like, going from, like, your claim about, like, the Grammys are only, like, you know, appealing for a white audience, whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah.
But I feel like even that album wasn't influential enough in pop culture. The album I thought was going to win, and I didn't think deserved it in any way, shape, or form, was Awaken My Love. And the reason why that is because, number one, you had Redbone, which is probably the most popular song of that year.
Yeah.
The album was very child-friendly.
Yeah.
Child-friendly.
Yeah.
It didn't really have any underlying tones or innuendos behind it. And you could turn it on and the entire family the entire family above the age of 10 years old listen to it and it would be completely fine.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any complaints about it other than a few curse words here and there.
Yeah. Not only that, it was featured in a movie too, Get Out.
Exactly. Then that kind of notoriety would assume that, okay, this is a pretty popular album.
Yeah.
But when that didn't win, I kind of told myself, okay. And was looking at all the people who were nominated for Album of the Year. It was Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino, Bruno Mars, and then who else?
I'm trying to remember who the other person was.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Well, let me look it up. That's disrespectful.
Yeah. I still would say if I were to give my money to who would win Album of the Year, I think, I know this would be kind of like a cop-out. I still go for it either way. 444 by Jay-Z. Like, it feels like the legacy piece that Jay-Z needs to kind of put the nail.
Okay, you got to explain that.
It puts the nail in the coffin of what the whole image of Jay-Z is in terms of, this is who I was back in the 2000s, and now with the recent, I mean, sure, background may count and it may not. Just the whole idea of who Jay-Z is, what he's going through with his wife Beyonce, and also kind of confronting that whole, what do you call it? The whole family life. Well, maybe not family life. His life as Sean Carter. Like, we get to see behind the facade of Jay-Z to just who the artist is. We learn about Jay-Z having a lesbian mother and like how he has to deal with it, how he wants to help the black community, and informing them, like, this is what you need to do in order to get to where I am, and we don't have to stay in the slums. And in addition, like, he, much like Childish Gambino, where he has that notoriety in terms of, like, at least in the context of, like, the internet, he has what was that song? The Story of O.J.
The Story of O.J. Yeah, that was very popular, and I do agree. I did like that song.
Yeah. So I think for me, like, 444 has everything, like, not only a Jay-Z fan would like, just for a person who just kind of wants a cathartic experience to what an artist is struggling through mentally, emotionally, and some of this is actually his fault too, and some of it is actually parts that he has no control over, like his mother, his father, and whatnot. I think for me, 444 is just a legacy piece to the idea of Jay-Z being put down by the artist who brought him up, that is Sean Carter. That's why for me it's like Album of the Year for 2017.
That was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I like that album, I'll say that.
Yes.
But
yeah,
I'm going to tell you why I didn't want Album of the Year.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so the album is so much about himself.
Yeah.
And that's not essentially a bad thing.
Right.
Some artists who write about themselves can turn out to make beautiful work.
I mean, look at Kanye West.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Beautiful album.
Yeah.
So when we talk about artists who talk about themselves, Jay-Z can do absolutely nothing, nothing to win over the committee at the Grammys.
I agree with that.
Because here's why.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, he will always be portrayed as that guy who slang coke, that guy who sold drugs.
Right.
There's nothing he can do.
I can concede to that.
There's
or
nothing.
the image of Jay-Z just kind of like, oh no, this is not us.
Yeah, exactly.
I see that. Yeah.
But what I like about the album though is that it was the perfect way to like just put a period at someone's career.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is done. I want to do right for the community. I want to do this, and that. This is all I have to say. And it was very subtle. It wasn't like the Blueprint albums, or it wasn't like the Eagles, American Gangsta, or it wasn't like ba 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 ba, I can't say some lyrics on the show, but you could assume I'm going to say, but. This was a very different album from Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I could definitely say I didn't expect it. But a lot of artists need to take note of this album and do the same thing with their careers and just put a perfect period. That's what I wanted the Ye album to be.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be a period. I'm done.
Yes.
Kanye, I love you, but you're 41 years old. You could still make music. Kids He Goes prove that. But you need to figure out how to just put a period at the end of your career, and just call it.
But he's been reborn, and he's moving
yes,
forward.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Man.
Except he didn't do justice for Nas. I know, that's dirty.
Man. I was so excited for that album, too.
Yeah, same.
And it was just whatever.
Everything.
Cop shot the kid. The cop shot the kid. The cop shot the cop shot the kid. The cop shot the kid. The cop shot. That was a hard beat.
I know,
that
right?
was a good beat.
Like good on him.
Cop shot the kid. The cop shot the kid. The cop shot the cop shot the kid. The cop shot the kid. The cop shot.
Was it a Slick Rick? Was that from? I know it was the.
It was from a stand-up skit or something, right? That's what I.
No. It was
talking about the sample, right?
Yeah, the sample was from I think it was Slick Rick, children's story from the Great Adventures of...
that is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
It's a good song too. Dang. Not only Cop Shot the Kid, just children's story. It's a good story.
I always wonder what is this trend of 7-track albums. Is that going to continue like for the rest of eternity?
I don't know. I know he's coming out with Yandhi. So
Yandhi is about to be. Let me tell you about Yandhi.
Yes, tell me.
So the snippets to Yandhi, some of them released online, and there's a song with Tyga, and it's only a reference track, and this shit goes so hard,
dude.
It goes so hard.
Tell me.
I can't. I wish I could play it on here. But
entice our auditory sensory.
Okay, so use descriptive words. Okay, I can do that.
Please do.
Well, I will do it when we come back from our break. All right, so we will come back to that, and I want to use my language to describe to you what this reference track sounds like.
Most. Ooh, D'Angelo, Black Messiah.
D'Angelo in the Vanguard.
Ooh, is this Betray My Heart?
Yep.
Oh, this is a beautiful song.
Okay. I'm gonna do Maniacs.
Ooh, Judas Priest. I forgot they released an album. That's like one of my favorites too. Damn.
I totally forgot about KOD.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was like last year.
Yeah, it seems so long ago.
I know, right?
That was April.
For real?
Yeah, he released it on 420 for some
goddamn reason.
Oh,
that makes sense. Wow. Dang. Wow.
Let's fade this because I want to get.
Hey, it's Peace Patty B.
And Eddie F. and Diaz.
Telling all you peeps.
And you sexy students out there.
To tune in Thursdays at 6 p.m. for our new show,
Ideas.
A talk show here on
Oh yeah, Brockhampton.
I didn't like that album. Well, it's not as good as Saturations.
I have not listened to your
guaranteed
distance
great
yet, so
conversations,
I can't really.
amazing radio
Okay.
personalities,
Yeah.
and now
I don't have much
more
to say.
entertainment, leaving you craving for just
Let's
one
see.
more.
We live at the beach, and as world citizens, we have a responsibility to take care of our human impact on our environment. The Long Beach Environmental Alliance is asking for your help with their monthly beach and cigarette book cleanup. The cleanup happens on the fourth Sunday of each month. Parking is provided free, and students can receive volunteer credit and class credit. Develop yourself, build friendships, and take care of
Okay,
each
you
other.
want to get back?
Yeah, let's do it.
What were we talking about before we? Oh, Yandi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Let's go.
We are 22S Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to the Talking with Spencer program, everyone. My name is Spencer Klein, your host for this evening. We have 10 more minutes of the show to get into, and we were just talking about Kanye West's prospective newest album titled Yandi. This would be his, I believe, his 6th release of this year that he is collaborating with. His 2nd solo album and his 3rd album, personal album this year.
Yeah.
So, the snippet features Tyga. And Tyga basically just starts... Well, so, okay, so it starts out with a beat. And the beat is an arpeggio with a synthesizer. And the beat goes very harmonic based, and then Tyga starts rapping, and then saying like, "I can make you love me, and I can make you know, to listen to your mama's house, the teddy we got go." Basically uses arpeggios within the arpeggio scale in order to sing notes that kind of dance around the middle of that scale. Really interesting. And then he goes off, spits a verse. Nice verse, by the way. But I don't know if this is going to be an actual album. Then after that verse, Kanye, and interesting enough, doesn't rap, but gives like this monologue. Like this speech monologue. But it fits in with the song really well. Like he says something like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but... Yeah, I've been dancing too long, but now my money's gonna be too strong or something like that. And then it just fills you with like this confidence and like this egoism, and you could sense that it's like the SNL skit and the TMZ interview, just tailored to a way where it actually looks presentable. It's very Kanye-esque, and I wasn't really excited for Yandi because I kind of think 3 albums in 1 year is kind of overbearing. But after hearing that, I think I'm excited for it now.
Okay.
Especially now that I'm going to see him at Flog now. I hope he has something.
Hey.
Play something.
That's what's
from
Yonder.
Yonder.
Yeah. Yonderoo.
If the album didn't say something like, Yo, what's up, Gandhi? My name's Yandi. or something stupid on the way of that, I'm not buying the album.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know right now.
Well, at least we're gonna get some Yeezus vibes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We need that back.
I know.
That's a good album. Man. Yeezus was...
Yeah.
It's funny how Kanye can have interest in something.
Yeah.
And then he takes an interest and makes it his own. What I feel like what happened with Yeezus is that he heard a Death Grip song.
Yeah.
And was like, I need to copy this.
Yeah.
And then he made Yeezus.
Yeah.
That's probably essentially what happened.
Yeah. It sounds like that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me as a Death Grips fan, I didn't really enjoy Yeezus all that much.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it wasn't a good... It wasn't a good take on industrial hip hop.
Yeah. That's at least that's what it communicates to me. I know some people who enjoy Yeezus way more than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I dropped them from the family. So
you gotta stop talking to them right now. Stop being friends with them.
I told no, they're my family. So I just disowned them. I'm like, what? I was like, please tell me what makes you say that? They're like, it's a lot more accessible. I'm like,
no,
boy, no. Yeezus is like compared to like all the other ones. It's daring. It's very in your face and wants to punch you. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is like it's like monologuing to you as it's sitting on a high throne chair with gold and all that other luxurious
It's literally
stuff.
the perfect album. It's actually, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but that's the album I was going to buy for the Wall of Fame. The 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah,
perfect album.
Dang, man.
Mm.
Yeah. I think, talking about perfect albums, like I already mentioned the 3. Captain Beefheart, Trapmaster Replica is like my other. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just love this album so
gosh.
much. It's the perfect 0, and then it's just like the ace, or just you could flip it back to a 10. I'm like, wow.
Like it's the perfect 0, therefore it has a purpose, and it achieves that purpose.
Exactly.
And it's I didn't even hear the album, but the way you describe it, it's better than Kid Cudi, because Kid Cudi, and we're talking about Speedboat to Heaven here.
Yeah.
That album, you could tell he tried to do something. I mean, he just failed at it.
Yeah.
It would be similar to taking a test, knowing you have a test at school, and then you go in 200 question test and getting a 0.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
What Kid Cudi does in his album is he goes in, takes a test, gets like a 3.
Yeah.
And 3 out of 200.
Like it feels like like Speeding Bullet to Heaven was like he studied. He just studied for the wrong test.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it feels like for me with Speeding Bullet to Heaven. Child Mask Replica is just, oh no, he knows the test.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to take it.
Yeah, exactly. And if he does, he'll prove to you.
It's like, okay, I'm going to be a little bit risque here, but imagine Kid Cudi, and what's his name again?
We'll call him, the artist I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Captain Beefheart.
Captain Beefheart, that's right, okay. Captain Beefheart and Kid Cudi are both taking a class. And they go into the class, take this test, and Kid Cudi studies really hard. He's studying all night for it. He turns in the test. He gets 2 out of 200.
Yeah.
Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Beefheart takes that exact same test. He turns it in. There's shred on it. There's spit, saliva, blood. Doesn't even write his name.
Yeah.
What else? Can't even...
He stapled it for some reason.
Yeah.
For some
reason, it's laminated.
Yeah.
Now
that's kind of wonderful. But how did he do that?
Exactly. Like it's kind of like this is something totally different. And now I have homework to do. Now I have to listen to the album.
See, yeah.
Because I'm really curious now.
Oh my goodness, this album is just... It's one of those things where it really challenges you as a listener, or challenged me as a listener. It's like listening to free jazz, honestly.
I like free jazz.
Yeah, it's like, Ornette Coleman.
Yes,
right?
Ornette Coleman, The Shape of Jazz to Come.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's basically like that, where it just feels so uncomfortable. Like, trying to listen to what the heck is going on. Like, is he really testing the shape of what jazz is to come? Captain Beefheart's kind of like... You know what? I'm gonna see how much you could tolerate, audibly speaking, because this guy goes leaps and bounds to find ways to make this as uncomfortable as possible, whether it be through varied time signatures of each instrument to discordant chords to weird saxophone solos that sounds like someone's just like farting through them.
Jesus Christ.
Production even too. Like there's a track, and I mentioned this before. China Pig. He sounds like he's in like a latrine with like a tape recorder, and he just has like someone with a Delabro playing with him as he's just drunkenly singing something. I don't know what it is.
I always wonder what makes these artists want to like sample stuff like that and say, okay, that's an interesting choice of production when you have a perfectly good studio to use.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And I mean, you even have lyrics there's like, a squid eating dough is fast and bulbous. Get me? I mean, it only extends more.
Oh boy!
There's a song which is like one of my personal favorites and is one of the most hated tracks amongst all my friends that I've tortured them to listen to, called Pina, right? Or Pena. And it's for 30 seconds, it's just a track where it's just these two dudes, including Beefheart himself, just like saying the skit is like, fast and bulbous, and I think it was like, that's right. What was it? I forgot. I was like, that's right, Mr. Tambourine Man, fast and bulbous also tapered. No, but you gotta say, also a tin teardrop. And in the background, you just hear just like the guys just like, Christ. And like Frank Zappa in the back of the production too, he's like, okay, man, we'll do it again. Just do it again. 30 seconds. And then you get to the song. It is one of the most annoying things you'll ever hear.
I really gotta do my homework listening to this song because I'm actually really excited because I'm a trash person, and what I mean by that is like I like really bad things just for the sake that they're bad. Like the last time we were here, we were talking about The Room.
Yes,
love that movie.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie.
You should go to a screening of that.
They do that still?
Yeah, November 30th. That's November 30th and December 1st over at the Regent Theater in LA. They have midnight screenings of it. Okay. Oh my gosh, you should come.
All right, I really want to go.
I'm gonna invite you.
The time is now 6:59, and unfortunately, we have to end the show for today.
We do.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
We will see you next week.
Peace.
Okay.